The Toyota GT86. It's rear-wheel drive, it's fun to drive, and it's affordable. And it's the best driver's Toyota in a generation. Now, what some people might not know is that this sports car takes its name from a Corolla. It's named after this one, the AE86 Corolla. But what's so special about it, and why has it inspired a sports car? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's drive it. Okay, so we've jumped into the AE86, so let's find out what all the fuss is about. Obviously, the first thing you notice is it's a car that's over 20 years old, so we've got no power steering, so nice heavy steering. We've got a really lovely natural throttle cable, natural feel to the throttle pedal. It's like a real nice pickup with the throttle, and there's a really nice raspy exhaust note. It's only got 123 brake horsepower, but it only weighs 970 kilos, so it's light and it feels sprightly and pretty quick. Now, this car's taken on legendary status with drifters and motor racing and rallying. So in period it was very successful in rallying, very successful as a race car, and subsequently it's been modified and used as a drift car by lots and lots of enthusiasts around the world. So that will give you the impression this is some really hard to master, tail happy monster, but it isn't. Obviously it's rear wheel drive and it's got a beautiful balance, and there's just a real delicacy to all the controls, and it's that basic platform that's made people want to turn into a drift car. So they've taken that basic setup, added a lot more power and put limited slip differentials into the car, and that's what's made it into such a legendary drift car. When you drive this car in standard form, which is what this car's in, you don't get that sense, but what you do get the sense of is just that it's a perfect car for understanding rear wheel drive and understanding balance and handling. So you come towards the corner now, and braking, nice feel, firm brake feel, down through the gears, lovely. You can heel and toe really smoothly with the pedals. You turn in and it's just lovely feel through the steering. You can feel the weight transfer into the rear. If you drive the car smoothly, it's just an absolute joy to drive. But then, like here for instance, this long corner, I can then just have a little lift off the throttle and then there we go, big oversteer. So you just, perfect car for learning about car balance. And again, through these fast S's in fourth gear, about 80 miles an hour. So I turn to the right, lift off the throttle, and there we go, a little bit of oversteer. So it's just beautifully balanced. It hasn't got the power to do big power slides out of corners, but what it has got is that beautiful balance. So you turn in, a little bit of understeer, and then you get into the throttle, you dial away the understeer as the balance transfers to the rear. And it's just, there again, like this little bit of oversteer. It's just a beautifully balanced car.
I was very impressed with how the AE86 felt to drive. Okay, it's showing its age in some areas, but in terms of outright fun, it can still teach many a modern sports car a thing or two. However, GT86 has already been praised as a great driver's car, so we're not here to dispute that. What I want to know is whether you can really sense that it's made from the same DNA as the Corolla. Let's hit the track again to find out.
Okay, so jump into the GT86, and obviously it's a 21st century car, so the cabin's very different, but you can definitely tell that the naming of this car is more than just a PR exercise. And I'd wager a bet that the guys that developed this car spent quite a lot of time driving the Corolla before they finalised the way this car handles, because it does share a lot of those traits. Obviously it's rear wheel drive, it feels quite light, and it's just that same beautiful balance between front and rear grip, and the way that the controls are really communicative. That's really very similar between the two cars. Now obviously the GT86 has got a boxer engine, so that's a bit different, but it has the same sort of rev happy nature as the 1.6 engine in the Corolla, but it's the handling where you feel the biggest similarity. So the steering in this new car is really sharp, really positive front end, beautifully balanced as you turn into a corner. And again, the same as in the Corolla, if you have a little bit of understeer on the entry to a corner, you can start to dial into that with the throttle and dial away that understeer. Now obviously a modern car, it's got a lot more grip than the Corolla, but it's very similar in the way that it's a great rear wheel drive car for learning about car balance. So through the high speed corners, same as in the Corolla, you can start to get the car to oversteer through a high speed corner. It's very easy to correct with the steering, and it's very adjustable on the throttle. So into a corner like this, turn in, a little bit of understeer, and then you can dial that understeer out with the throttle. Hasn't, again, same as the Corolla, hasn't got enough power to be a sort of ultimate drift car in terms of throttle oversteer, but through a corner like this, flick it in, a little bit of a lift, and then back into the power and correct with the steering. That's very reminiscent of the Corolla. It's just a wonderfully engaging car, and that's something I think it's learned from its, again there, lift in the middle of the corner, transfer the weight to the rear, lovely sensation of correcting that steering. It's just one of those really engagingly, beautifully simple but very engaging car, and I think that's something it takes from its Corolla predecessor.
Driving the GT86 back-to-back with the Corolla was an eye-opening experience. Often when manufacturers liken their new models to former legends, it's usually just marketing spin. But not in this case. The GT86 really does have the genes of the AE86, and that's what makes it so great.